the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What's up, everybody? Woo, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Ooh, it's kind of chilly out there. Anyway, everybody, because we gotta fall back from the 90s and the 80s we was getting for the last couple of months. Anyway, everybody, welcome. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. It's Thursday. Once again, it's October the 9th. So, what do I expect? Anyway, glad that you can make the Ron Kelly Show part of your day. Wow. Lots going on. We're going to get to it. We'll get to it all in just a few minutes. And anyway, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. And it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Let me see. Okay, yep. I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm good. Yeah, okay. The sound is good. Because I saw somebody on Facebook click off. I guess they had something else better to do. Anyway, yeah, just a couple minutes past the hour, 2 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. It's Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. A little bit later on today, I will be sliding over to the spot to watch the New York Football Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles and watch the Giants get annihilated. Anyway, yeah, somebody clicked on it and they clicked off. I wonder what happened. Maybe I turned somebody off. Anyway, oh well. What the hell. Shout out to my people, the Amaker and Porterview Transportation. I'll tell you more about them a little bit later on. As proud supporter of the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. And shout out to Martin Anthony, this guy on LinkedIn, Martin Anthony, who is just an angry white man. Martin Anthony, just an angry white man, accusing me of clickbaiting, like trying to, saying something outrageous to get people to respond to it. And I don't do that. What I say I'm going to talk about, I talk about. I mean, yeah, you want to put something out there that people are going to be interested in talking about, but I never do clickbait. I don't have to do that. Anyway, everybody, about 5 minutes past the hour. So yes, I'll be watching the Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles a little bit later on this evening. We'll see how that goes down. Shout out to my peoples on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, LA Talk Radio, Block Talk Radio, everywhere the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program is broadcast all across the United States of America. I want to thank everybody for their support here on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio show. Let me see if my sound is on Facebook, because I know it's on LinkedIn. I'm good on LinkedIn, but people keep clicking into the program and then leaving. So I want to make sure, if I'm boring you, okay, fine, but let me see what's going on here. You know what? Let me take a quick break. Come back with more. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio show. Everybody, welcome back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. What the F is going on with my show? Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, something's going on with Facebook. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Um, okay. Yeah, it looks like Facebook is good. Well, yeah. Shout out to my brother Albert Vega, DJ Tiny. What's up, my brother? Good to see you. Good to hear from you, my brother. Yeah, I thought that maybe there was an issue with the sound on Facebook because I saw. I mean, I can't see everybody who watches the program, but I saw how people were coming and going. I'm like, wait a minute, they must be going because there's no sound. But I checked. Sound is great on LinkedIn. It's good on YouTube. It's good on Facebook and everywhere else Ron Kelly Talk Radio program broadcast from. So shout out to my brother Albert Vega, DJ Tiny. Yes, sir, my brother. Appreciate you. Love this cat, man. Love this cat, Albert Vega. Oh, a true friend. You know, good friends are hard to find these days in this social media and all the other stuff that's going on in this world. Shutdowns, government shutdowns, and all kinds of stuff that's happening. It's hard to find a good, loyal friend. You know what I mean? It's hard. Just like it's hard to find a good, loyal woman. It's hard. That's hard, too. I'm going to talk about this. Is it true what they say about black women? Is it true what they say about black women? Appreciate you, Albert Vega, my brother. Is it true what they say about black women? Because, you know, we'll get to that. Also, did Diddy get justice? Did Diddy get justice? Did Diddy get justice? I'm going to definitely talk about that and compare it to another case of something that happened in Texas. So did Diddy get justice? We'll talk about it. And also, we got a couple things we're going to talk about tonight. So everybody should just sit back and relax. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Yeah, did Diddy get justice? Did Diddy get justice? Did Diddy get a fair trial? Did Diddy get a fair sentence? We'll talk about it. Dating is hard these days. It's hard to be a single man like the R yours truly is right now. And dating is hard. Dating is and it used to be easy back in the day. You know, back in the late 80s, 90s, dating wasn't as hard as it is now. You know, because now we got the internet dating, which I really hate. You know, I think I've greeted more people on there than the greeter at Walmart. So I really don't like internet dating. And people, there's not a lot of gathering places either, like it used to be. Like we used to go to the disco. Well, not necessarily not the disco, but we used to go out. And there were places where you can go. Because we used to hang out in bars back in the day. You know, we hung out in bars. And you could go to a bar and meet somebody. Now, you don't want to meet anybody who's drunk, but we used to go to the bar and we would meet women at the bar. Now it's the cigar lounges where, you know, where women are invading the cigar lounges, shopping for men. Because it costs a little bit of money to smoke cigars. It's not cheap. So, dating back in the day used to be pretty easy. You know, back in the day when we used to have it's a lot simpler to date, yes. A lot simpler to date Albert Vega. A lot simpler. You know, now it's ridiculous. You know, now it's ridiculous. And now I don't know, I mean, I had opportunities to date outside my race. And it's all, yes sir, Albert Vega, it's all the social media crap. You know. And dating is not what it used to be. You know. Because you got social media nonsense blowing everything up. You got women who are following behind their friends. You know, you have the social media stuff, suggestive, and women are saying, oh yeah, that's right. Like a woman, yeah, we can date. On our first date, meet me at the nail salon. You know, if you want me, you have to make sure, no, hell no. If you want me, you have to make sure my nails are done and my hair is done all of this stuff. You know, women. Yeah, and I know some of it is just not very serious. Some of the stuff that they put on the air. I mean, on the social media, TikTok, and some of the other places. Some of it is contrived. Some of it is skits. But I believe that some of it, but art imitates life. Life imitates art. Art imitates life all the time. And I do think that there are people on there where some of this stuff is true. The women wanting you to buy, get something to go for their kids. Where's the nigga at that you had them kids from? You know? So I believe that some of this stuff, some of the women, you got to pay all my bills. Get the F out of here. I got to pay all your bills. Why do I have to pay all your bills? If it was meant to be paid for, it would have had a coin slot or a place to put the money, like an ATM. You know. And this is what you see on social media. And some women are adopting this stuff. And they're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you got to pay me. You got to give me mine. You got to pay my bills. I'm paying your effing bills. But see, I think that, as I think it was what has happened, Albert Vega and others who listening to the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, I think what's happened is that as we get older, it's harder. As we've gotten older, dating has gotten harder. And I'm going to tell you why. Because especially with the women. Because the women, the longer they're around, the longer they live, it's more trauma and more stuff that they go through. The women. The longer they're around, when they get into their 50s, 60s, older, the quantity or the quantitative, the things that have happened to them in their life adds up, right? So, when women's getting their 50s and 60s, they've been through a lot. Yeah, they've been through a lot. They've been through a whole lot. And so they have more trauma and more drama that they've created and have suffered through. So it's harder with an older woman because she's been through a lot and she's like, okay, because you see it on the internet dating sites. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the other. So it's all that they've been through. All that they've been through will be presented to you when you meet them. So they'll be looking at you out of the side eye based on all the stuff they've been through. So when the women are older, it's harder to date older women because they've been through a lot. And by the time you get to them, it's, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do the other. Now, I don't have nothing to do with that. But this is what happens when you date like older women, especially older black women. See, because I've talked to a lot of women about this, and many of the women have said, well, the black men have made us like this. Black men have made black women the way they are. Rambunctious, bodacious, talk back, independent minded, all of this stuff. I don't need you, all this nonsense black women be saying to black men. And I've talked to a couple black women about this leading up to this program, and they was like, well, black men made them like that. That's what I'm being told, that we as black men, because we put the black women through so much stuff, we made them the way they are. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing. See, because nobody can change me from who I am. You know, I don't care. Well, I've been through a lot too. Been, you know, kids, married twice, divorced twice. You know, I've been through a lot too. You know, and just being single is traumatizing these days. You know, being single. Because I'm single. I don't like being single. But, you know, then again, it's hard to find somebody who doesn't have a truckload of baggage. Very difficult. 16 minutes past the hour. So yeah, so dating is not like it used to be. It used to be you had a job, you had a car, you had a place to live, you passed. Job, car, place to live, you passed. Now all this other stuff. You got to baby me and, you know, come on, you ain't no baby. And see, the problem is, for me, the problem is that the women want these things right away. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not opposed to giving it to them. I'm not opposed to being loving and caring and touchy-feely, kissy, public displays of affection. I'm not opposed to that. But see, that's stuff you get, you know, you earn that. And see, what happens is a lot of times the women will come in and they want that right away. No, it doesn't. For me, it doesn't work that way. I have to build up to that. Just like y'all have to build up to sex, I have to build up to that, to being loving and caring. And because if I'm doing it just to be doing it, it's not good. It's gonna be fake. So, you know, I have to build up to that. Just like the women, like they say, they have to build up to sex. You know? Because I've met some really good women. I've met some good women, but the attitude, you know, I couldn't handle. See, because we never really get past what we've been through. We never really get completely all the way past it. Because there's always something. We may get better, but we don't get completely past it. We just get better with it. So we've been through something. Like I've been married. I've had 2 marriages, 2 divorces. Now, does it still, I mean, do I still carry it around? No. But it's still in my head. You know, it's part of my history. Now, does it affect me? I mean, at one time it did affect me and how I approached women and how I conducted myself in relationships. At one time it did. It doesn't anymore, but at one time it did. Because I had to do some work. So, yeah, dating is hard. Dating these days is hard, especially when you're dating black women. It's hard. Y'all, you know, a lot of attitude, a lot of, you know, I want to be led, but let me tell you how I want to be led. I mean, come on, what kind of mess is that? Like the women say they want to be led, and then, yeah, I want to be led, but I want to tell you how to lead me. I mean, come on. You know, I mean, I don't think dating outside of the race is the answer. You know, because I know a lot of guys who do it. Like, enough of this mess. I'm going to be with somebody else, somebody other than the black woman. And I love my black women, but the attitude and the and the, you know, and the fingernail popping. Oh, just get on my nerves. Anyway, we take a break and come back with more of this. Back with more, and we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about Diddy when I come back. We're gonna talk about Diddy. You know, did he get a fair trial? Did he get a fair sentence? But all that and more when we come back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blog talkradio.com. The Ron Kelly Show. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, ronkellyshow.com, live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, LA Talk Radio, all over the place, all over the United States of America, and overseas as well. I mean, we don't have the biggest audience overseas, but there are people over there who listen to the Ron Kelly Show. So thank you for those of you where it's already tomorrow. And I'm still in today. Thank you for making the Ron Kelly Show a part of your day at 22 minutes past the hour. So yeah, so I know I probably lost a few dates to my last in my last diatribe about women and black women in particular. You know, but dating now is hard. I guess I would imagine it is hard for both sides. It's hard for women and it's hard for men as well, because it's so complicated now, and I guess we're just in another time. Because back then it was simple. That's what I miss about the '90s, late '80s, early '90s. That's what I miss about that. It was such a simple time because there was no social media. It was no, you know, all of this stuff that's going on, this high tech. There was no this transgender nonsense. Men were men, women were women. A man maybe dressed like a woman, but that's as far as it went. There was cross dressers. There wasn't, you know, where women getting their breasts removed and taking steroids so they can look like a man. All of that stuff wasn't going on back then. This high tech presto change. Oh, I'm a man now, even though I still got fallopian tubes, a clitoris. I still got female parts. You know, all this stuff that's going on now wasn't going on back then. It was a very simple time. Even the cars were easier to drive, you know, back then. You know, when I was a teenager, they didn't have GPS in the car. You know, I mean, the car wasn't that old, but they didn't have GPS like in the early '80s. When I was a teenager, they didn't have that stuff, you know. So it was an easy time. There was no transgender. If you saw a woman, you knew she was a woman. She wasn't no damn man, because with men cross-dressed back in the day, you could tell that was still a man. You know, but now with this high-tech stuff and, you know, all of these things, you know, you can see somebody on the phone and all. It's just a lot of stuff going on right now. And it does make it harder to date. Because like I said, back in the day, you had a car, you had a job, you had a place to live. Okay, boom, you are good. Now, you gotta, there's so much more you have to be in order to be with somebody. Anyway, everybody, it's 25 minutes past the hour. We'll watch the Giants a little bit later on. The Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles later on tonight. Watch the Giants get destroyed by the Philadelphia Eagles. Or maybe not. Maybe you never know. Maybe not. Anyway, everybody, it's 25 minutes past the hour. So, yeah, so we just had the conclusion of the Diddy trial. We just had a conclusion of the Diddy trial. And, you know, America, as much as, I mean, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, but America is a racist country. Now, I watched the video just before I came on air a video of how a white cop was manhandling this sister, had her in a headlock, punched her, and she wasn't really, I mean, she wasn't one of them thug type chicks, you know. And I'm like, man, I had to do, I mean, I'm just glad that I wasn't there. Because the way he was doing her was just unbelievable. He wouldn't have did it to a white woman. You know, now I'm not, you know, one of those cancel the police. You know, I'm not one of those people, cut the police or stop the police or all of that stuff, kill the police. I'm not down with that at all, because we do need them. But like anything else, there's a lot of hundreds of thousands of police out there. There's a lot of bad ones. There's some that belong to white supremacist organizations. There's some that belong to skinhead organizations. And black people still get pulled over because they're black. And don't let there be more than one or two people in the car, or you really getting pulled over then. You know, a lot of times police pull you over and they can't even tell you why they pulled you over. Because they can't say, well, but I pulled you over because you was black. And they can't say that. But yet there's still a lot of racism in America. A lot. You know. I mean, I don't get pulled over that often. I guess I'm just, you know, I just don't fit the description. But a lot of black people do get pulled over for nothing, just because they're black. So I saw this cop beating, you know, just really manhandling this sister. And man, I'm just glad I wasn't there. I'm glad I wasn't there. That's the best I can say. I'm glad I wasn't there. Because the way he was doing her was just, oh. It's like watching Roots again for the first time. Just unbelievable, the way he was treating her. And so, you know, you hear Senator Tim Scott, the Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina, I believe it is, the coon, the coon, Senator Tim Scott, talking about the America's not a racist country. Senator Tim Scott. America ain't a racist country. Okay, but before I go any further, let me let you know that the Ron Kelly Show is sponsored by American Port of Your Transportation for 45 years. You get that? How can you do something for 45 years and not be great at it? Well, for 45 years, American Port of Your Transportation has been, since 1980, since it's a few years before I was born. 1980, American Port of Your Transportation has been providing safe, reliable transportation for you and your peoples to and from your destination. You know, they had school districts, special needs transportation, school trips, trips to the casino, Atlantic City, you know, you name it. Family reunions, you name it, American Porterfield can handle this. Maybe you should give them a call. 888-753-6423, I believe it is. 888-753-6423. Once again, 888-753-6423. The Ron Kelly Show is being sponsored, proudly sponsored by American Porterfield Transportation. One other thing, the views and opinions expressed here are exclusively those of myself and R. Kelly Media Enterprises, LLC, and are not those of my advertisers or my support team or anybody who has anything to do with the Ron Kelly Show on a Thursday. Approximately 30 minutes past the hour. So yeah, so it's America is still a very racist country. America is always going to be a racist country. So if you think for 1 second that we're going to be, you know, holding hands with each other, with the white folks and singing Kumbaya, you're sadly mistaken, because that's never going to happen. Because America is always going to be a racist country. Always. America is always going to be a racist country. And I'm not saying that all white folks are racist. White folks marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. White folks marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. There's plenty of white folks in the movement. As a matter of fact, white folks were instrumental because it wasn't us. But when slavery, there were white folks in the Civil War between the North and the South, between the abolitionists and the slave owners. And there were white folks who gave their lives. White folks fought and died so black folks could be free. So, you know, we can't say that all white people are racist because white folks were the abolitionists and white folks freed the slaves. White folks, not black folks. There wasn't enough of us and we weren't organized enough and we didn't have any weapons. It was white folks that did it. So, yeah. White folks put it out there, put themselves out there for us. But America is still, even though they did that, America is still a racist country. Now, there's a pastor in Texas, pastor of a mega church. Maybe not as big as Joel Osteen's church, but it's up there. Texas megachurch pastor Robert Morris. Robert Morris, Morris. Robert Morris. Look it up. Robert Morris, who was the pastor of a megachurch, 64 years old today. So this man, when he was in his 20s, he was molesting a little girl for years. I think until she was like 12. So I think when he started, she was like 8 years old. And she's 55 years old today. Texas megachurch pastor Robert Morris was molesting a young girl under the guise of being a missionary. So the lady finally came out. After many years, she came out and told what Pastor Morris did to her. Okay. So Pastor Robert Morris, copped to 5 counts of molestation of a child. Pastor Robert Morris copped or pleaded guilty to 5 counts of molesting a child. So he pled guilty, 5 counts molesting a child, and got 10 years. 10-year sentence. Okay, so he got the 10-year sentence, but the problem is that he will only have to do 6 months in jail. That's part of the plea deal. He pled guilty, 6 months in jail, 9.5 years probation for molesting a child. 6 months in jail, 9.5 years probation for his 10-year sentence. So for a 10-year sentence, he only does 6 months. 10-year sentence, he only does 6 months. See, now Diddy has already done 14 months. You know, almost a year and a half. No bail. $50 million bail turned down. I mean, $50 million, you would hope he would try to escape. Because the town or the city gets to keep that $50 million if he absconds and tries to run. $50 million bail he put up. They wasn't going for it. Wouldn't let him out. So this pastor, who's white, gets 6 months in jail and 9.5 years probation. Now, Diddy gets 5 years. No probation. The only thing he's going to get is they're going to deduct the time he's already been in jail from his prison sentence. So he's down to like 3.5 years unless Trump pardons him, which is being talked about. But see, that's the difference. There's still white justice and black justice. It still goes on. And I know some of y'all are R. Kelly, man. We got to talk about this stuff. We have to talk about this stuff. This pastor, Robert Morris, white man, gets 6 months for molesting a child, molesting a prepubescent teen, 12 years old. He gets 6 months in prison. He gets a 10-year sentence, 6 months in prison, and 6 months in prison, and 9.5 years probation from a 10-year sentence. A Diddy, who didn't molest a child, who had sexual dealings with people, willing participants who were adults, and he gets 5 years, 60 months. I mean, he's going to wind up being like 40-something months. But I mean, come on. Where's the justice? Why is it that this man, this white pastor, gets 6 months in jail and 9.5 years suspended sentence on probation? Diddy gets, hard time. And what Diddy did, he didn't do anything with any children. These were grown folks who was down with him because he was rich and they wanted that money. And now they want to come out and cry about, oh, Diddy, was so horrible. You could have left. Nobody said that they were being held against their will. Whoever, Cassie Ventura, whoever else who testified against Diddy, nobody could say they were being held against their will. Nobody. Nobody was being held against their will. Yeah, if he was black or Spanish, if that pastor was black or Hispanic, he would have got the death sentence for molesting a child in Texas, of all places. Texas, where there's more executions than any place else in the country. Texas, hardcore Texas justice. Lamont Gates, the pastor, thank you, Albert Vega. Yeah, if he was black, he would have got destroyed. Lamont Gates asks, how did the pastor plead? The pastor pled guilty. The pastor pled guilty to 5 counts of molesting a child, a baby, practically, up until she was 12 years old. 12 years old. I mean, how can you even get turned on by a 12-year-old child? You have to be sick. And the worst part about this was this Pastor Robert Morris. Look it up. Pastor Robert Morris was a pastor of a big church. So this man is getting up on the pulpit every Sunday and preaching the word of God, and is a pedophile. So you got a pedophile preaching the word of God, a pedophile. You see what I'm saying? Diddy got 50 months. Diddy didn't, do anything with any children. He was with grown people who was down with him because he was filthy rich and they wanted that money. You should have got a job instead of hanging with Diddy. Yeah, so this pastor pled guilty. Now, I know that Lamont Gates is going to ask, well, maybe Diddy would have got the same thing. No, No, if Diddy would have pled guilty, he would have got 30 years. If Diddy would have pled guilty, he would have got a lot of time. It was a smart thing for him not to plead guilty because he was found not guilty on 3 of the 5 counts that he was charged with. So he didn't get the racketeering, he didn't get the kidnapping, the top 2 worst charges. He didn't get the. Now, if he'd have pled guilty and he'd have pled guilty of all 5 of those counts, he would have got massive time. So it was a smart thing, Lamont Gates. It was a smart thing for Diddy to plead not guilty. That was a smart thing. Because he was found not guilty on 3 of those counts. The RICO, all of that. I mean, he'd have been to jail for 40 years. You know, he would have been in jail for a long time if he would have pled guilty. So it was a smart thing for Diddy to plead not guilty. Because I know what you're thinking, Lamont Gates, that maybe if he pled guilty, he would have got a break. No, he wouldn't have got a break. He'd have pled guilty to RICO, you know, racketeering, influence, corruption. He would have got the chair. Anyway, everybody, take a break. Come back with more. It's Ron Kelly Talk Radio. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Alrighty then. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So glad that you were able to make the Ron Kelly Show a part of your day. I really do appreciate it. It's 18 minutes before the hour. Albert Vegas says with Diddy, they all participated in all the work. Yeah. These are grown folks. Diddy was rich, and it was greed. It was American greed. Diddy was rich, and they sourced the money that they didn't have to work for. And so that's what they did. They went ahead and they did what Diddy said. Oh, what the hell? A little sex ain't gonna kill you. I mean, come on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, yeah, this is what happened. They all participated with Diddy. But, you know, it's disturbing that this pastor gets 6 months. Gets off with 6 months. And Diddy, after already being in jail for 14 months, has to do another 50 months in prison. And this man who molested a child who wasn't old enough to consent. And he gets 6 months and 9.5 years probation. I mean, he should have got 20 years. You molested a child. That's sick. You got an illness. Diddy was, I mean, you know, yeah, it's not something that I would have done, but, you know, Diddy was a freak. We find out now. He had a lot of money. And yeah, and he I'm not saying that Diddy was right. No, he wasn't right. He was wrong. He was dead wrong for what he did. You know, but the money got to him. He's rich, almost a billionaire, plenty of money, people, you know, licking his feet. You know, so yeah. But I'm not trying to explain what he did, but yeah. Yeah, he you know, he went too far with it. But the point is that none of them were children like this pastor. You know, the lady is 55 years old now, and she came out. Now, if he didn't do it, he should have said, I didn't do it. But as soon as she came out, he copped to it because he knew he was guilty. So this white pastor, and it just makes it even worse because he's been a pastor for years, preaching the word of God, and underneath the robes it was a pedophile. Just unbelievable, unbelievable. And Diddy, so there's a lot of, so you know the you know the America is still a very racist country, even when you got money. Because Diddy should have been able to buy his way out of that. $50 million, and he still said no. That's probably the highest offer. Oh no, because I saw something on where the guy put up $100 million. Yeah, $50 million. I would say, yeah, sure, let him out, and I hope he runs. Because if he runs, guess who keeps that $50 million? The city of New York, or the state of New York, whoever was pressing it, whoever was handling the case. So yeah, so shit, why not? Lamont Gates says the guilty plea on the pastor explains the lower sentence. I do believe the judge had it in for Diddy. Yeah, I think he did too, Lamont Gates. Now, and I hear what you're saying, but see now, the pastor, he pled guilty to 5 counts of 1 charge. See now, if Diddy would have copped, see Diddy was found not guilty. The pastor didn't even go to a trial, but Diddy, the case with Diddy, he was found not guilty of 3 of those counts. So they were only left with the transportation across state lines for prostitution. So yeah, the judge did have it in for Diddy. $50 million, can't get out. The pastor's case was also years ago. Yeah, the victim is an adult, but he still did what he did. I agree, yeah, the lady is 55 now. The pastor is 64. He did this when he was in his 20s. So yeah, it was a long time ago, but there's no statute of limitations on this stuff. Not on child molestation. There is no statute of limitations. That's good. Look what happened with the Catholic Church. How many of those people who were molested 30, 40 years ago, and they were able to come forward and get compensation because they were shipping the pastors all over the place. Once he gets in trouble, they ship him to another parish, pray over him. But you're right, the pastor's case was years ago. But that doesn't take away from what he did. It doesn't take away from what he did. He molested a girl. So this judge did have it out for Diddy. This judge did have it out for Diddy. Wouldn't give him bail. I mean, kept him in jail for more than a year. This is a rich, in America, money is supposed to talk. But money doesn't talk for everybody. Didn't talk for Bill Cosby either. Didn't talk for Michael Jackson either. It didn't talk for R. Kelly either. So a lot of times in our cases, money does not talk for black folks. So yeah, the pastor's case was years ago. But this is how in the world could this man get 6 months for molesting a child? It's unbelievable. So we got a government shutdown going on right now. And guess what? Both government shutdowns came during Trump administration. The last one was during the first Trump administration. Here we go again in the second Trump administration. There's another shutdown again. And then they're blaming the Democrats. The Republicans and the conservatives are blaming the Democrats now The Republicans control the Senate, they control the House, they control all three branches of government: the executive, legislative, and judicial. They control all three branches of government, plus the Supreme Court. So what the problem is? How can you blame the Democrats for this when you're in charge of everything? You have the majority in Congress, you have the majority in the Senate, you have the Republican president, and then you have a majority conservative Supreme Court. So you got everything. You got the whole ball of wax. So why are you pissed off why are you trying to blame the Democrats? Now, I'm sliding away from the Democrats. True indeed. I'm like, I don't like what's going on with the Democrats right now. Now, I'm not to say I'm going to go with the Republicans, but I don't like what's going on with the Democrats right now. I think that they should be a little more gullier. You got to fight fire with fire. You got to fight fire with fire. And they're not. So I'm not all down with the Democrats right now. But we got this shutdown, and it's just a mess. And the only time this has happened was during the 2016 to the first Trump term and the second Trump term. Those are the times we had government shutdown. Now this is when it's been going on for a while. Now this is 8, 9, 10 days almost with this government shutdown. This is not good. And then the elected officials, I believe the senators and the Congress, they still get a check. But the air traffic controllers don't get a check. I wouldn't get on a plane right now if it was free. Because now you got the air traffic controllers who are not getting paid. You got to pay those people. I mean, if you don't pay nobody else, you got to pay them. Now they're calling out sick. There's not enough air traffic controllers. They're slowing it. I mean, come on. Now the problem is that the Democrats want the Medicaid cuts restored. The Medicare cuts in this big beautiful bill, they want those cuts restored, which is laudable. Because there's a lot of folks who are going to lose coverage or have lost coverage. And you see the slickness of it is it doesn't take place till after the midterms. That's the slick part, because the Republicans don't want people to start feeling that now. So the big beautiful bill doesn't kick in until after next year, after the midterm elections, where the Senate and the Congress are up for re-election. You see, and the people will get squeezed in the middle, as usual. But I got to give it to the Democrats. They got to stand their ground and make sure that stand their ground as long as they can to make sure that those Medicaid, Medicare cuts are restored. Corporation for Public Broadcasting, they cut. I mean, come on. That was where Mr. Rogers used to be. I mean, you're going to cut Mr. Rogers? Even though he's not alive anymore, but, give me a break. But the Democrats have to start fighting back, fight fire with fire. If they get dirty, y'all got to get dirty too. Dirt for dirt. Anyway, everybody, it's about 5 minutes before the hour. Appreciate everybody listening to the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program on a Thursday. It's October the 9th already. Kind of nippy out there. It's like less than 60 degrees. And I looked on the calendar. I looked on the forecast, and there's no more 70s or 80s. That's it. I think that's it. It's unless something freaky, crazy happens, there's not going to be any more 70s and 80s and all that stuff. Not anymore. So you had your fun. I know I had my fun in the summer. I did a lot of things. I went a few places. So I'm not sitting around like, I used to at one time. Like, man, I should have went here. I should have went there. No, we ain't doing that this year. We are. So, so yeah, we all right. We good. On a Thursday night of the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. You just need to check Lamont out, Lamont Gates out. I don't know if he does it for me, but oh, what the hell. Yeah, Lamont Gates, Real Spiritual Talk on YouTube, I believe it is. I'm not sure if it's on Facebook or not. You have to check out Lamont Gates, Real Spiritual Talk. About dead people. People who think they died. Maybe they did. I mean, you know, I don't know. But check him out. Maybe you'll learn something. Anyway, it's 3 minutes and change before the hour. So yeah, I hope that, you know, that you're not one of those people, and Trump's talking about laying people off, firing people. Trump, I mean, boy, hopefully we can survive these next 3 years. Next three and a third years. Hopefully we can survive this. Because Trump is a mess. You know, and the country is a mess. Department of War. Why would you change Department of Defense to Department of War? But you know, other countries look like, oh, Department of War? Oh, okay. Why would you say Department of War? Why would you change Department of Defense to the Department of War? Because that's what it's supposed to be for, defense, defensive measures. That's what the nukes and all of that stuff is for. A deterrent. Because if somebody shoots theirs, we're going to shoot ours, and we'll both be all destroyed. So why would you change the Department of Defense to the Department of War? It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. You know, antagonizing other people. What do you think that North Korea and some of these other people who can't stand us, what do you think that they're thinking? Russia, they be playing Trump. You know, Putin comes around, he plays Trump like a bass fiddle. And Trump don't know the difference. They're probably over there laughing. It's all about him. He's a sick man. Trump got issues. He's scary, you know. We just hope that, you know, that he doesn't do anything stupid to get us all killed. Yeah. So, but Trump, tell you what, Trump, let Diddy go. Free Diddy and then all is forgiven. No, not really, but free Diddy and we can talk. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, free Diddy. Okay, everybody, it's just a minute before the hour of 8:08 p.m. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for making Ron Kelly program a part of your day, if you did. I can't see everybody who listens to this or watches the show. Unfortunately, I get the numbers later on after the show. Maybe a few days from now, I get the numbers of who listen. But I appreciate everybody who listened to the program. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you back here next Thursday. Still working on the remake, still working on the redo, and possibly a co-host. Possibly. You know, finding a good co-host is like trying to find a good girlfriend. You know. Anyway, we're gonna break out of here. Thanks so much for joining me. It's time to go watch the Eagles and the Giants play football. So we'll see you back here next week for another edition of the Ron Kelly Show. So until then, I'd like to say that it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that we may not have it all together, but together we can certainly have it all. Thank